Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Today our group Fiverr will be presenting about the documentation and control system project. I am Mbeki and I will be presenting about the business process diagram of accounts payable based on the 24/7 company case article. First and foremost, 24/7 company is using the payable system to record the supply of inventory. The business process diagram begins with the payable system, which the company receives invoice from the vendors where the invoice are status are. R here means receive. Then they will match all the unprocessed invoice to purchase order. When the match has been founded, the invoice status will be set to A for payable. The unmatched invoice will go to payable staff, which is below the payable system, where the payable staff will resolve unmatched invoice with status S, which means suspended. Then, when the problem is solved, the process continues as it will go back up to the payable system. The next step is the department will request R, which means receive, to the bank in order to send AFT to the vendor's bank. After that, the payable system will receive the AFT confirmation from the bank. In the process, before the AFT request goes to the bank, the system sets the AFT status for an invoice to P, which is pending. After that, system sends a batch of AFT requests to the bank. It then changes the AFT status for each one in the batch for R. After this process has been done, only then Pat, who is the manager of 24/7 company, will run the reports to verify the payments were made only for valid requests. In the last step, this is where Bern, who is an account payable staff a member of the company, will download the payable file from the system into a spreadsheet, which is sum the amounts of invoices with status R. Then the sum becomes the amount for adjusting entry to the general ledger, which it enters the payable amount for the months being closed. The process ends here. For the next one, we will be moving on to business process diagram on accounts payable, but this time it is a contemplated one, which is more detailed. This occurred when Pat had considered to use the contemplated system in 24/7 company business. The process begins with vendor, where the first step is the vendor have to complete a web form and submit it for validation by the company. There are two possibilities here, which is either the invoices pass or not pass. If they do not pass, the system will prompt for changes until the invoices passes or the edit checks. This is where the vendor makes changes to validate the form. Then the invoice will go straight to the database once it has been validated. But the second possibility is that if they pass at the first stage, they will not undergo the process. Instead, they will straightforward accepted to the invoice into the database. After that, the process continues just like before. Then, Pat, the manager of 24/7 company, will run the report. The last step is in the process is where Bern will update the general ledger using the spreadsheets. This will mark the ends of the process. Thank you. Now I will pass to Hakim to present about the current system control weaknesses.
Okay, thank you, Lukman. So, in the analysis of current system, there are several weaknesses that might have potential effects on organizational effectiveness and financial statements. The first weakness is the indication for received invoice and the requested electronic funds transfer (EFT) is the same. It can be seen that the current system uses the same letter, which is R, to represent two different activities. The first one is the received invoice and the second one is the requested electronic funds transfer. Therefore, the potential effect on operational effectiveness is that there might be a confusion for the payable staff to record the process, and this may lead to the error of recording. For example, the staff may mistakenly treat the requested EFT as a received invoice and record it in the trade payables account. As a result of overstated payable accounts, there will be a misstatements in the statement of financial position in the presentation of financial statements. So the second control weakness for the current system is the unrestricted access for payable transactions. All payable staff have the ability to edit the transactions at any time. For this one, operational effectiveness might have affected in a sense that there will be a high risk for manipulation by dishonest employees. This is because employees can easily modify the transactions according to their own interests. For instance, an employee that has intention to do fraud may create a fake invoice and use his own bank account number for the payment. The fake invoice then will be entered into the system and will be treated as purchases by the company. When the payment for the fake invoice has been made, the profit for the year of the company will be understated. Eventually, the financial statement will be impacted as a result of understated income statement for the year. So the last control weakness is the poor manager supervising. This can be seen in the conversation between the accountant and the payable manager. When the manager was asked about the development of this system and how often the system gets updated, he couldn't answer the question. Therefore, what can be concluded is the operational effectiveness is relatively low for the current system due to lack of engagement and monitoring activity by the manager. Furthermore, there will be a high risk of material misstatement that can affect the true and fair view of the financial statement. This is because poor manager supervision allows errors and fraud to happen while conducting the transaction process. So that's all from me. I'll pass to Akmal.
Hello, my name is Akmal Haris. So now I'm going to present about the control weakness of contemplated system as well as the potential effects on the financial statement and operational effectiveness. As we can see, that there is a different process for a contemplated system and current system as presented by Luqman just now. So the first weakness is there is a high cost for the setting up of the delivery ticket because as stated in the dialogue between Kiran and Pat, there must be a website that vendors can produce using a website, and of course there will be an employee working on it, which will demand for a higher salary. Hence, higher salary demanded causes expenses to increase and it will lower the company's profit. So this is the effect of the financial statement. As for the operational effectiveness, there are two possible effects, which are the first one, the good one is the process of delivering will be more organized and it will be more accurate because of cross-checking, which they have two documents to check. And the second one on the bad side is that there is a less fund for the other operational activities. So the next weakness is there is a high risk of human errors from vendor. This is because the delivery ticket is edited by the vendor and sent it to the company. This can potentially affect the company in a bad way, which for the financial statement, there might be a high risk of misstatement occurring. This will also need a more work to double check the amount of delivery fees. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to current and contemplated system. There are two control weaknesses in the current and contemplated system. The first is the usage of a spreadsheet to prepare the adjusting entries for the company and the subsidiaries. The usage of the spreadsheet could affect the financial statements as there could be an overstatement or understatement of profit. In terms of operational effectiveness, the preparation of the adjusting entries would be more difficult if more subsidiaries are acquired. This is seen from the company's way of keeping the financial data and preparing the adjusting entries of their subsidiaries through a monster spreadsheet, as described by Pat in the article. The second weakness is the absence of a backup system. The company keeps the spreadsheet in Burns PC. If Burns PC is inaccessible due to computer breakdown, maintenance issues, or virus attacks, the company would have no other means to access the adjusting entries and the subsidiaries' financial data. As there are no backups for the data, the company may have to redo the spreadsheet and request back the financial data from its subsidiaries to recover the lost data, which increases the workload. That is all from me. Mohd Firdaus will continue the presentation.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Firdaus. So based on the control weaknesses that has been explained and explored just now and the potential effects it has on the financial statement and of operational effectiveness, we have 6 suggestions for the company. The first is to restrict access to the payable system. Second is to restrict access to the adjustment spreadsheet. Next is to review changes to the general ledger and to change the adjusting entry model from spreadsheet based to system based, and probably could explore in storing data in the cloud. Next is to properly supervise the segregation of duties. And finally is to integrate subsidiary system into the main system. That is all from us. Thank you very much and Assalamualaikum.